Oseo.
Oseo.
Cherokee greeting, wave the great feather for the good of it. Buffalo, Tatanka, Yanasa. That's been the theme. And I have a couple of responses this very week. The first one is I have a card here. This is from Vivian Olds in Nevada. I will also have some other photos to show you in my display. And this is a painting of a buffalo by a Canadian artist. Beautiful painting. And she starts out saying, "Dear Coyote, Yahoo, and more. Very powerful presentation on Native America and buffalo. Your paintings always move me." Thank you, Vivian. And another one I have here. This is from Randy Hawk. A beautiful buffalo here, and this buffalo, it's a photograph, is located in North Dakota. Good old homeland for that buffalo. And she writes, "I've enjoyed the buffalo talks all summer and the constellations incorporated into them. The constellation is the Great White Buffalo constellation, which is overseeing us for these summer and autumn months, and very much, is the aura of these presentations." And just to follow those two buffalo, you look at the buffalo I have up over here. And so you can see here, this is buffalo fur here, and then I've adorned it here with autumn leaves, where we have just passed the autumn equinox. So I'm starting off here with this. This is very interesting. This was just a couple days ago in the San Diego Tribune. This is a photograph of teepees, Lakota teepees, and it's located up at Lake Cuyamaca. Cuyamaca is a lake with a Kumeyaay name, and it's up there near Julian. And what the article is about is that a woman who is a member of the Kumeyaay Nation, who were the ancient and long-standing inhabitants of this whole region, she has issued an objection to seeing these teepees at this location. She says they are out of place, meaning culturally out of place, because these are not her culture and so forth, and she is saying that she wants them removed. Whoever took the photograph, I think, must be standing in the water or in a boat, and so I think it's wonderful. I don't think that the whoever runs the lake up there is going to take them down. I hope not, because I haven't gone up and seen them yet. But I think that it's marvelous to see these and to remind people, even if they are culturally in the wrong place. But at least a little bit that it does say in the article gives people an idea. In the tradition of the Lakota, the teepees were typically erected and taken down by the women. And the circular shape represents kinship, the floor represents Grandmother Earth, the walls are a symbol for the sky, and the poles connect the earth to the sky world. Well, that's very good. It's very good any way that can tell. There's many other people in this country from all over the world, and many of them really don't know anything about Native America or teepees. So that's a good way to start. And with that, I want to go over here to this is a teepee, a model, that is. So I take a look at that. Americans are pretty typically pronouncing teepees. They're even sometimes spelling it with double E's, teepees. Correctly, it's more like a T-H-I, tea. It's a little bit of an aspirate in there, tea. And that's an actual word, which means, dwelling. And the P part of it means this is the function of this conical building, is for some people to dwell in. We go right up here to this photograph here. Can you see that? This photograph was actually taken by Deb Sutherland, who lives up there in Nevada. She's a school teacher, and on her vacation to Wyoming, she took this photograph and sent it to me. And what the photograph has here is this monument. This monument, the Americans have given it the name Devil's Tower. That's the kind of names Americans give to sacred places. But the actual Lakota name, for it is different than that. And that's Mato Tipila, which means the bear's very own teepee. So that's why I'm bringing the whole thing of the teepee in here. And here is a buffalo standing there. And she said that a ranger, I believe, in the region here, said that that was very exceptional to see this lone buffalo there. So it's a very poignant portrait of the sacred site. And also the Lakota have another name for that, and that's the Petehe Ke, meaning this is the brown horn of the buffalo. And Akasa is added to it, meaning broken off. But basically, this is the brown horn of the buffalo. So we can see this sacred site here. And so that's a way that I can start with this. Now, continuing with the idea of that the buffalo are returning, being brought back. And so let me start, with this piece here. We also have a newborn, and if you were watching my talk from last week, you heard her voice. She's right over there. She may sound her voice again. She's just a little newborn infant. Her name is, what was her name? Athena. Athena Celeste. Okay. The birth of every buffalo calf on Native American land marks a cultural and spiritual victory that gives Native Americans hope. As each calf struggles to stand and walk, the hearts of all Native Americans celebrate their own survival, their strength in the community, and their dreams of opportunity for future generations. In the first tribal Buffalo Conservation Summit, many First Nations gathered to share their experiences in bringing back the buffalo to native lands. In the past 8 or 10 years, many First Nations have worked to restore hundreds of buffalo throughout parts of the West. Now we all share the vision of restoration, of restoring tens of thousands of buffalo on hundreds of thousands of acres in the decades ahead. The return of buffalo is also the rebirth of our centuries-old cultural traditions that ensured survival. Dozens of buffalo calves were born in Indian country this past year, a tribute to the years of work that has made buffalo restoration possible. The return of buffalo to native lands means a healing of the past and creating a better future. The buffalo never die. So take a look at this buffalo calf here. And then I have some buffalo calves here. These photos of the buffalo calves are taken by Vivian Olds in Nevada. And there's a herd of buffalo up there in northeastern California. And so these are very precious photographs illustrating the buffalo calf and sort of coordinating with our newborn here in our Coyote Lodge. Now also I want to introduce that with the buffalo who never die, this word preterite. Preterite is a verb tense indicating an action in the past, but it doesn't have a period, a grammatical period to it. That means there is no limit to its duration. It is still continuing. So this is what we're talking about. The buffalo never died. And to illustrate that, this book I've introduced before by Jeremy Lent, certainly one of the great thinkers for our time. The Web of Meaning here. And this is just to illustrate what we're talking about with this word preterite. The indigenous people in Australia are referred to as Aborigines. It seems to be the world's name for them. And so one place to begin is with a core teaching from the Australian Aboriginal tradition, the concept of dream time. In the Aboriginal culture, dream time is a particular form of time that exists in both past and present. So the Aboriginal creation myth tells of original ancestors who lived long ago, laying down the pathways and patterns of life, and yet they still exist in the present. Quote, "They are just as much alive today as they were in the beginning. They are always part of the land and nature as we are." So it is with the buffalo here in Native America, and that's who we're celebrating here today, is our buffalo ancestors. And I want to show this photograph I showed before. Now this photograph, you know, I said here, you see the hand of the man on the buffalo there, very affectionately, you know, to feel by touching is what the language says. And also we can see the affection and regard, you know, between the man and the buffalo. Shanti. Shanti is that feeling. Oh, but there's something else here. We can see the forehead of the man pressed against the forehead of the buffalo. So this brings something else into play that's very, very significant. So we have forehead to forehead. We have, you know, what do you call the frontal bone and the frontal cortex or the prefrontal cortex, all of this. And the experts say this is the place where language takes place and symbol formation. So we may infer in this photograph like that, we're saying there's a transference going on between the buffalo and the man, and that has continued. It does continue, no matter, you know, what has happened in between. So from that, I want to jump way up here. This is my centerpiece. This is a watercolor painting that I have here. And here you see these are two dancers, lightning dancers with the buffalo heads. And up here this is a turtle, the sea turtle. And just briefly go up here because I had the turtle here. This is a sari carving. And that's to go with this. We're speaking of Turtle Island. So These are the dancers that are dancing to the buffalo, to the turtle, and the turtle is Turtle Island. And down here, you see this is Coyote. And so this is, a Nagitunkapi, meaning the spirits appear like this. They show themselves to me in this way. That's what I painted here. You could otherwise say it's a vision. So that's my centerpiece. And here, I've showed before, this is the buffalo calf bone pipe. This is just to refer to the most sacred, most ancient one that is like the constitution of the Lakota people. But it is, a calf bone pipe. So that's how we're having that here. And here I have this little person here, a baby, because we have one here. And this one is wearing the buffalo horns like that, and how she's looking over here. Maybe she's looking over here at this image for the white buffalo constellation. And maybe back here to another reading that I have. Here in Turtle Island, we supersede death by living the life of our buffalo ancestors, Bete Coyote, by submerging our life, our living, through buffalo's image or totem. We do now as they have done. That is to have this wish, to become the calf of Mother Buffalo. And as the mother of my own self, I imbibe the cultural substance in the spirit of those buffalo people. And among this buffalo tribe, the most unifying feature is that at the sacred waterhole on the prairie, in which reposes the spiritual unity of the buffalo tribe. And this bowl, Shanwaskchaluta, is the symbol. From it comes all eternal qualities, and to it these qualities return when they have been lived by the calves of the mother buffalo's tribe. Beteoyate. Miniaspera is what this waterhole is on the prairie. So this is to illustrate here in this display with the buffalo, and go over here to this. This is a carved wooden bowl. It's stained with red with cherry juice, and is a symbol for the ceremony on the altar in the teepee. The altar would be the Owanka. So that's why I have this here. This, in other words, this is a symbol that's on the altar in the teepee. So we have that, and then down here we also have another with the calf, in this case the white calf, with the mother buffalo. So all of this is to continue with our feelings and our minds for the buffalo and the returning of the buffalo. And this is, very, very major. It's very major for all of Turtle Island, everybody on Turtle Island, everybody. And also a resurgence of the spirit in Native America. And to kind of bring this to a close, then I'm going to read a poem by Mary Oliver, because we just did have the autumn equinox, as we call it. So this poem that I have printed in this book for my talks, and it's called, A Journey Through the Seasons with Coyote Talks by Carlos Warner. And you can order this from Amazon. So, the poem. fall. The black oaks fling their bronze fruit into all the pockets of the earth. Pop, pop. They knock against the thresholds, the roof, the sidewalk, fill the eaves, the bottom line of the old gold song of the almost finished year. What is spring, all that tender green stuff compared to this falling of tiny oak trees out of the oak trees? Then the clouds gathering thick along the west, then advancing, then closing over, breaking open, the silence, then the rain, dashing its silver seas against the house, singing their endless small alphabets. Thank you.